got a question. Ask Tom on Home Show Radio.
This is Home Show Radio live on Facebook and YouTube. Your questions, Tom's answers. Now here's Tom Tynan and Charlie Mosier.
And here we go with Home Show Radio. Ask Tom Live is what we're doing here, because it is live. I think I'm alive. Let me check my pulse. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good right now.
Looking lively to me, boy.
I'm not sure about him.
I'd say you's looking lively to me.
Let me see. Oh, it's saying I'm going to make it through the weekend, I think, too. That means I'm going to be on the radio 9 to 12.
Oh, hang on a second. Here we go. Yep.
And 8 to, we got to get this done first. So, yes, it says I'll be here this weekend from 9 to noon and 8 to 11 on Sunday. Saturday's 9 to noon. And, of course, we have to grow those things because soon we'll be picking fruit in the backyard because there won't be any grocery stores. So we're going to ask Danny Milliken how we can feed ourselves, just growing stuff in the backyard and a lot of other stuff with a whole bunch of garden pros that work the show with them. And they're on before me at 7 to 9 on Saturday. Good.
I love the little thumbnail they have of, I think it's Joey from Enchanted there. If you go back and look at it, doesn't it look like he's wearing one of those Chiquita banana hats there?
I actually was noticing that when I was looking at it. I was just going to ignore it, but he has a flower growing out of his head.
It does. It looks like,
okay.
He's a Chiquita banana, and I'm here to say, okay. All right. Hey, can you still sing? Can you still sing that song? Is that allowed? Because I know you can't sing the Frito Bandito song anymore.
I'm not getting canceled, so I don't do anything.
Or Aunt Jemima or anything.
I just say yes, ma'am. No. Oh, yep. I can't say that either. No,
yes,
I don't say anything.
Yes.
I'm on radio. I don't know if yes is allowed.
Yeah. Who knows? I'll tell you what is allowed: home improvements.
Yes.
That's safe. There you go. For anybody with a home. But, home improvements, and that's what we're here to do, talk about home. Tom, we get questions in our Ask Tom section, homeshowradio.com. Tom, in case you don't know it, Tom's a home builder for years, has a degree in architecture, has been on the radio 35 years helping people, largely in Houston and Texas, but in other places too. And now he's on here to help you. And if you want to get your questions answered, you can just go ahead and put it in the comment section down below. It'll come up here on my little screen here, and we'll ask Tom for you. And you can get questions today for help with, anything from your foundation to the roof and in between, walls and electrical and plumbing and gas.
Yeah, but Charlie, you say just Houston, but in the past, you had us syndicated in Dallas, San Antonio, Corpus, Beaumont. You'll have to add some of the cities I don't know. I think it was Waco and San Marcos.
And what do they all have in common, Tom? They're all in Texas.
I don't live there. They're all in Texas, yes.
That's right.
But I also did the first series on Home and Garden Television called Dream House. Mm-hmm. It had a little really bad TV show called Our House that was in Chicago and Nebraska. And so it's been a trial and error. But guess what? Houston's my home. I know Houston's your home too. And that's where we're going to end it someday, but not yet. Because, according to my pulse, I'm going to be around a while.
At least through the weekend.
At least through the weekend.
My grandmother used to have an expression. She'd say, hey, we could all be dead and buried a week from now. So we'll be here this weekend. All right.
So, I hope so. I hope we're not jinxing something, but yes. Exactly. Be here this weekend.
Anyway, so we'd love to hear from you. If you want questions, go and put them down there. But in the meantime, let's get things rolling here, Tom, with one of the ones from the Ask Tom section, Home Show Radio. This one comes from Gary in Willowbrook. He says, my 25-year-old brick is all the way around the house. My 25-year-old home, rather, is brick all the way around, except for the fascia boards, window trim, etc. And I have a lot of rotten wood around the house, and I also need a new roof. So what's the order I should take these on in? And do I call Rudy's Quality Painting for the wood replacement and painting? What say you?
I tell you, if you don't have a fascia board issue, but the rotten wood is around your windows and areas like that, I would tell you if there's no fascia work that needs to be done, go ahead and do the roof first, because all those roofers and all that debris coming off your house and everything else, if you have a nice fresh paint job, something might get damaged where you'll have to touch it up. But if you do have fascia work and whatnot, then if you need to, you can probably get at the roof, but have the guys come out and replace the fascia boards before they do the drip edge. So it's a little tricky, but it has to do with what kind of work needs to be done just around the edge of the roof. But if it works out for you, I'd prefer to see roof go on, and then Rudy come out and do all the carpentry work, although they could do the carpentry work before the roof and then come back and paint. But I'd like to see the paint at the end, because that way it won't be touched and it'll look really nice and fresh and get it done. So maybe have Rudy come out, do the rotten wood, have the roofers get the roof on, and then go ahead and have Rudy come back and just paint it and leave it at that. That might be a good sequence if you have fascia board problems.
Now, couldn't the roofer do the fascia for him?
Some could, but if he's going to have a carpenter come out, they might as well do the whole thing. I think it would be easier if he says there's a lot of rotten wood. There's a lot of work to be done before the paint job even starts, so they could actually time the two pretty close together. Okay. But yeah, some roofers will do. There's no doubt. Some good roofers will do fascia board, no doubt.
I just had to. I had to go ahead and punch my phone so I wouldn't get calls during the show.
Okay, I already did mine.
Well,
something happened.
Because professionals prepare in advance. The rest of us do it on the fly. So, thank you, Tom.
It's like
All
after
right.
this, I have to call Spectrum to get my phone line fixed. Okay, fine.
Hey, it's funny you say that, about the order and stuff. We were talking about right before we went on the air about the expense and thing. And isn't it funny how, with COVID, even though we're, pretty much I like to think we're on the healing end of that, because we don't live in the Seychelles or India, bless their hearts. But and yet things are still moving really slow. And I don't know if that has any connection with the skyrocketing cost of building materials. We were talking to an electrician this week who told us that a package of wire that he would normally pay $140 for was $480, $480, I think it was. It was just an absurd amount of money.
It is. I saw a piece of 4x8 plywood that's 3/4 of an inch thick, which is a thick piece of plywood, is $97 for one piece. So the cost of homes are going $20,000 to $30,000 to $40,000 a typical home. They're going up, and people say, "Well, it's just the materials." Unfortunately, it's going to be everything because of the fact that gasoline's going up, rubber tire prices are going up. You got trucks involved. Tool prices are going up, and the guys working, since all the prices go up, including I think you've seen in the news food prices and things like that. Their pay is going to go up, and because the demand is getting smaller and there's not that many people working, they're able to raise their prices because it's either them or nobody, and people want to get things done. So it's going to be an interesting, and it's not going to be just a couple of months. I was trying to buy some boxes today and some breaker panels for my electrical program that I run, and I can't get them for 16 months, not weeks, but months before the surplus is going to come back. I think really what happened was we had a big surplus. When the COVID hit, production stopped. So everybody went into the warehouses. Construction did not stop. Construction was great through this whole lockup, believe it or not. So they just used everything up, and now the warehouses are empty. Production's going to have to ramp up, and production takes months before you fill the warehouses again.
I'll tell you somewhere else that happened. I was reading the Wall Street Journal, I think it was earlier this week, is that auto manufacturers and a lot of manufacturers went to a thing called just-in-time manufacturing. And the idea was that because the supply chain could deliver things right on time, that they could delay ordering things until right before they need it. So circuit boards would arrive right when they need it, mufflers would show up just when they need it and all that. And that's perfect until there's a disruption in the supply chain, which is what's happened now. And so now they're really rethinking this, and it's going to cause their GM and Ford are having to put in warehouses again, and they're starting to warehouse stuff to be able to maintain consistent production. But there's the supply line principle at work here is called the bullwhip, and that is where demand goes up, right? Demand goes up, and then supply it lags behind it, then it's going to go up, and then it's going to do this, and it's going to do this for a while until it all shakes out. So,
but you know what else happens is now that they're going to build, let's say everybody builds warehouses and starts buying everything that comes out. Well, now you go into panic buying because there's not enough just to spread out throughout the country. And that goes with food and everything. Toilet paper, you saw that happen, where it's just people start panic buying and start hoarding. And then that makes a real mess out of the whole deal to try to get the system back. So I would tell people to do calm buying. Just buy what you need. We'll be okay, but don't get into that panic buying because it hurts everybody.
Tires are the next thing.
Oh, I know it. And roofing materials. We haven't got into that yet.
Yeah, petroleum-based things.
Yes.
Because I think there's...
Which is not everything.
I think I heard something about permits being held up and fracking being stopped. I don't know. It could be...
I'm not going that route, but I tell you what, people don't realize plastic, everything comes from oil.
Well,
and
you can choose not to.
Electric car has a whole bunch of plastic in it. So anyway,
you can choose not to go that route, but we're all on the same bus. I'll just tell you that.
I know.
All right, Gretchen's got a question for us here. She says, I have 2 windows that won't stay open. They slam closed when I open them. It looks like some sort of chain is coming out of the side. Who do I call to fix this? I'd rather not replace my windows.
Okay, first off, that's your sash spring, and it is let go. You can have them repaired. Now the question is, who's going to do it? Those are old aluminum windows where the springs start to fall, and they need to be wrapped back up inside, and then they have a little T channel that they step up into and hold themselves tight. And when one goes, the other one goes real quickly because it can't hold the whole weight. So you don't have to get rid of the windows. Who you're going to call, I would start, and I think the only place you can call, and we have one certified home show pro here in the Houston area that probably will lead you in the right direction. They're called Glass Doctor, because this happens a lot when glass windows get broken and the sash springs will pop out. And so I wouldn't doubt that they have a way of fixing the glass, and either fixing that, because it's real simple, or having someone that does it. So call Glass Doctor first and see if they can lead you in the right direction or if they can even help you with that. But it's a simple fix. It's just, it's not a business somebody's in just to fix those windows. And the big mistake is calling window companies that sell replacement windows. They won't touch something like that. They'll just tell you have to replace all your windows when you really don't, unless you really want to.
We did.
Replace your windows?
Yeah, replaced our windows.
Yeah, but it wasn't because the sash springs broke. You don't open your windows anyway.
No, it's because they're ugly as sin.
Yeah, because they're ugly as sin.
Yeah.
That's a good reason. I'm good with that.
Yeah, no, they're butt ugly. But I mean that in the nicest possible way. But yeah, no, they had to, Sandy and I were like, they just had to go. Hey, Gretchen says cool, thanks. So yeah, call Glass Doctor there, Gretchen. And by the way, if you're looking for them and any of our home show pros, go over to homeshowradio.com. You will find all the pros arrayed right there down the side of the website and in the homepage. Or click Find a Pro and search by category. So if you're looking for a glass person, glass repair, you'd go there and take you to the same place. And that's how it works. That's homeshowradio.com. And we're real careful about who gets on there. Tom carefully vets everybody who gets on there. It's true.
I do.
Yeah.
I really do.
We find a lot of people. Tim and I find a lot of people. And then Tom goes, yeah, not this one. And so that's the people he does.
Tim sometimes doesn't like me. He's such a nice guy. He pretends he does. But I think when he goes home, he yells at the dog.
He's got my understanding is they were over in Louisiana and they bought a Tom Tynan doll and some pins. So if you're having some pain.
Yeah, that might be.
Okay. Now, hey, we got a question last week, and I saved it. I actually sent this to you, and I don't think you got it, from a friend of mine who was watching, and he asked, I'm going to ask you his question right now, and then we'll get back to more of the ones from the website here. Okay. He says, a friend of mine, microphone keeps getting away from here. A friend of mine, he says, my second story has a squeaky plywood deck and unlevel spots. We're thinking about selling and want to do this cheap. There's a whole topic there.
That's probably why I ignored it. When I see words like cheap and no money, I think, well, I can't really help you. But go ahead. I'm listening.
Craig's a good guy. I want to help him out.
I know he's a good guy, but he wants to do it cheap. Don't do anything at all. What do I tell people? Clean up the house and sell it.
That's it.
So don't do anything at all.
Let them fix it
well or don't do it, because they're going to buy the house. Just sell it as is.
And
it's
Craig,
on level. If they put new floor covering, they'll put a leveling compound down.
Right.
They'll put some mechanical fasteners, screw the floor down. That's fine, but don't do anything when you sell a house. So if that's what I missed, I'm sorry. I don't remember seeing that, Charlie. But
no, it's all right. No, there's more. He's got more here, but I will tell you this.
Sorry.
It's all right. But the Craig is he's on the verge of being an empty nester, and I'm here to tell you that that to a family that's going to buy that house with kids, the squeaky floors upstairs are actually a design feature, because they know when the kids are out of bed. So you sell it that way. All right. And he says, we're going to put together, he says, we're going to put Berber down once we have that fixed. I think it's more than those magic screws that go into the deck and break off. He says, also thinking about putting wood floors in the closets. Craig, stop the madness. Cheap. Don't do that. Just sell the house. So
I would, if you have carpet, I would call someone to clean the carpet so it smells fresh. I mean, they might not like it, but the color, but at least it'll be clean. Just clean the house up and sell it as is. But I will tell you this, if going back to his question and he mentions the little clip-off nails, you don't need those if you pull your carpet up and you're going to put new carpet down. Just have someone go down with a nail gun or a screw gun and nail the whole floor back down before the new Berber goes in. So that part of it would be omitted. It wouldn't be an issue at all. But to put wood in the closets makes no sense to me.
Yeah, and wouldn't you'd probably use screws better more than nails, right? Because wouldn't that hold longer than
he
nails?
Wants to go fast and cheap.
Yeah, that's true.
Nail gun. It'll pound it down, and you get it done in 15 minutes. So, I got squeaky stairs and stuff in my house.
Squeaky stairs.
Squeaky stairs.
It's a weekender I used to work with. Squeaky Stairs came on after me, and his partner was Phil Music. All right, let's. More questions come from our website here at homeshowradio.com. He says, Claire, she says, I want to replace my carpet with hardwood. We're doing the same thing. It is a concrete floor. I've shopped a lot and see that engineered hardwood is very popular. I'm skeptical. Tom, what's your opinion on this?
I think on concrete, the best way to go is engineered floor. You can talk to people in the floor industry. We have Jason over at Texas Floors if it's in the Houston area. They'll show it to you all. But I tell you what I like about it is it's not a typical a traditional wood floor because they don't go on slabs. That's a different process. And it gets to be very difficult if you're going to do a traditional wood floor. The engineered floors are finished top, bottom, sides. Everything has got a finish on there. So they stay very stable in humid climates, which of course is the Houston area, and you don't get all the cupping and things like that. So if it's put down well and your slab has been moisture tested and it's good, an engineered floor I think is a better way to go. And the finish is better. It'll hold up better under traffic than a finish that's put on site on a traditional floor.
Because I can't think of the last time I saw anybody put in a traditional hardwood floor. I think engineered is pretty much what everybody puts down these days, isn't it?
It's true, but you still have people that insist on it. In fact, I had an old, a name you'll remember, Charlie, a guy named Gary Zach, who was Bill Zach's son. He called me yesterday.
He was in the flooring business for a while, wasn't he?
He still is. He's a flooring inspector now, and he was still. And now he's an old guy. He's older than me, I think.
I'm a flooring inspector usually, but usually that's after a couple margaritas.
That could be. Anyway, he's writing an article, and he's still an old school wood floor guy. So it's kind of funny we had this question today, but and he's not going to like what I have to say, but I like the engineered floors better because I think for the consumer, the average person, they're going to hold up better and be an easier install and an easier product to maintain.
Now, but isn't one of the downsides to that engineered floors that it's actually a veneer on the top? You can only refinish it so many times, and then you're going to go through that veneer. Is that right? When you're dealing with an engineered,
twice, but once you refinish it, you're back to where you're down to the finish that's not as good because you can only apply a urethane on top of it, and that's what they would do. They wouldn't even use a wax on that. And you might be able to refinish them twice, but when you buy those floors, they're meant to last several decades. And if you maintain them with the floor maintenance products that are out there, even if you get some very hairline scratches in there, there's some products out there you mop down and it fills it up and gives it like a polymer effect on, just like hiding scratches on a car. So there's products to keep those things lasting. So I wouldn't buy it because it can be refinished. I would buy it because you don't have to refinish it and it lasts a long time, and then it'll be thrown away at the end.
No. Okay. If you want a question, you can join in. By the way, we love having you here, and thank you for watching. In addition to Gretchen, Martha's here and Chris is here, and I'm not getting a lot of. I'm having little challenges here with my little device over here. Tells me everybody's here. So if you're here, thanks.
We have so much IT stuff there's not a week that goes by that me or Charlie or Chad or the phone lines or something isn't working quite right, but we always get it done.
Yeah, well, I think we're having this challenge right now with your radio show where we took
phone lines.
We took a lightning strike here. Thank God the only thing that knocked out was our Telos, which is a box it's a box. I'll keep this simple. It's the little box.
You don't have to get explained too much.
That enables us to take the phone and put it on the radio and let you hear what Tom's saying. It's that box that does that. And it's the box. And I'm disappointed because we bought that thing and we only got 20 years use out of it. And so.
Well, my phone screener's 25, but okay. Yeah. Yes.
And I told Chad, go buy a new one. And he's like, "Well, I found one on eBay. I'm gonna, so we're gonna."
He's thrifty.
Yeah, I got better in 20 years. I'm not sure that technology has, but all right. Next question comes from Jim in Sanctuary, Texas. He says, "What paint should I use to paint a 2,000 square foot single story brick house white with black trim brick color? Is a cream." Yellow brick. He says it's a yellow cream brick and it's in real good condition, but apparently he wants to paint it.
Well, yeah, I'm a little confused with the question, but if we simplify it and say, I want to paint my brick, I'm good. Whether you just remember, and Charlie, you remember I told you this once you paint it, it's painted. Mm-hmm. What the funny thing is that it looks good. It's cream yellow color. It's in good shape. So I assume maybe you like it. You bought the house. So maybe a good professional pressure washing would be all it needs, and you don't have to paint it. But for those other people who are watching this too and say, well, yeah, I want to paint my brick too, and they do it sometime in restoration, and some people just want to do it, it's a very simple thing to paint. The key to it is before you put your regular, really good quality house paint on the outside like you would for hardy siding, which is a masonry product, holds paint well too, like brick is. Stucco has a little bit different paint. It's an elastomeric, but holds paint well. In brick, you would put a masonry primer first. That pH balances the surface. Then you come back with your good quality exterior latex house paint, any color, you want any kind of sheen you want. And just remember, the shinier it is, the more the imperfections show. So I'd prefer to see an eggshell. And then go ahead and paint it. It'll hold paint really well. And it better because you can paint it different colors, but it's going to be painted for the rest of its life.
Ever and ever. It's funny you say that. You think you learn lessons. By the way, I got to add something here, and I was remiss in not mentioning this earlier, Tom. I'm sorry about this, but when you put questions in the comment section below, you have to put them in the Home Show Radio comment section on either YouTube or Facebook. Craig put his, this is on my personal page too, and he put it there, and that doesn't carry through to our system. So you have to do it on one of those two if you're going to put your questions down there so we can answer them for you. But, years ago, I remember this when you and I first started working together, back in 19, and
it was the 19s, 1900s.
Yeah, it started with a 19. That's how long. Right? Anyway, so we were going to paint our first house, and you talked us out of it. Well, stupid is as stupid does. We're looking here to put a sign on the building, and I went and got estimates to have it painted on the brick veneer of the building. And I was all excited about it. I thought it was going to look really artisanal and very sexy. And I went home and I told Sandy about it, and she slapped me up the side of the head and said, "What are you thinking, boy?" so we're not doing that.
Sign.
Yeah, we are. We do need a sign. The fact is, what happened is when we moved into this building almost 4 years ago, I put a banner up on the front of the building thinking, yeah. And then, Harvey came, and then, a bunch of the pandemic and the freeze and everything. So Rudy's people are coming tomorrow to take the banner off the front of the building because it's going to force me to finally get the sign done to put on the front of the building. So
you need a sign.
We need a sign. Right.
Mosier Media. Yes.
Wendell. I think it's Wendell in Fresno.
Wendell.
This is our second question from Fresno. We're number one in Fresno.
I like it.
I'm doing some home remodeling in the future. What order should I do these projects? New flooring. People are getting things in order. This is a second sequence question we've had too. That was on early edition. All right. Anyway, what order should we do these in? New flooring, interior painting, kitchen countertops, and backsplash. What order do you go, Tom?
Easy. Countertops backsplash. Get all the rough work done. Then you go in and get all the painting done. Last thing always, floor covering. Because you don't want painters walking on it. You don't want guys, say granite countertops. You don't want them walking on your new floor. The only people allowed to walk on your new floor are the guys installing it. And once they clean up, you and your family and anybody else you allow. But you don't want a bunch of workers in there on the floor. So get your countertop and your tile work done because it's the roughest work. It'll leave stains and stuff around the edges. Painters will come in, do all the walls, the baseboards, everything. If there's a little overspray or something on the raw floor, the concrete, whatever's there, no big deal. And then have your floor covering come in. And then you might have a painter come back and just touch up a little spot here or there. But for the most part, you're done and your job it'll go smoother and it'll look clean at the end.
We're in the process of getting our bathroom done
Yes.
over at Casa Grande. And they're actually putting the tile down before they're done with the counters.
It's in a bathroom.
Yeah.
Sometimes they'll do that, but they have to protect it really well.
Yeah.
So you go through all this process. In a kitchen, I wouldn't. It's a bigger room. Bathrooms are smaller, although you might have a giant bathroom, Charlie. I'm not sure.
We do. Yeah. In fact, yeah, we had them. We're
Yes.
we're putting the handball court. And Sandy, we're having inlaid tile on the edge of the tub that says no diving. So.
And I'll tell you what else. And this is you're going to see deviations a lot right now. When we started talking about scarcity of materials, workers, things like that, sometimes you have to switch and do a few things to keep things moving because maybe the countertops aren't available for 3 weeks. That doesn't mean you want to shut it down. So I want everybody to know that to be very flexible with your contractors right now because it is like we mentioned earlier, it is hard to get things just when you want them. Sometimes you have to be very fluid in your thought process.
I don't know if Sandy's watching right now, but if you are, Sandy,
either.
I swear by all that's holy, I didn't ask him to say that.
No, I've been telling it to a lot of people right now.
I swear.
A lot of people are very frustrated, especially trying to get new homes in the ground. It is really difficult.
It is. And in fact, they've kind of ground to a halt on the tile work because Sandy picked this pretty little border or some kind of thing that goes around
Trim?
the middle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they thought it was in Florida. Well, they're slightly off. It's in Minnesota. And so they're trying to get it here. And so those kind
About
of
the
things.
same distance.
Yeah, and I confuse the two of them all the time. And I think
Yeah,
of
sure.
I think of like Stevens Point, Wisconsin, and Tampa, Florida, almost the same.
Almost. In distance.
But point is, like you say, you got to be flexible, and things are getting done. I'll tell you what, the work that they're doing is great. But when they tried to get that floor up at the edge, they found out that engineered floor, whatever it is we have, it was put down to stay down. They worked on it for a day.
People will do overkill, and they think, oh, this is done well. This will
Right.
never come up. I hear this, and I'm thinking to myself, you don't know how stupid you are. But the fact of the matter is, someday it's going to have to
It's kind
come
of harsh.
out.
It's kind of harsh, not
I don't
stupid,
care. I tried to pull a slab out once to put a room addition on. It
Yeah.
was 3 feet thick. We just poured on top of it, and the homeowner was freaking out. And he said, well, that guy put it in really well. That guy, he built a bomb shelter. You don't need to do that. Do what's needed to be done. Don't do more than that because it'll be fine.
I see that with people I'm getting a little bit into photography, but I'll see that with people who put a filter on the lens and they'll tighten it on there. I'm like, dude, you just have to till it stops and just because you're going to want to get it off. Anyway.
It goes with everything. Even cooking, if 1 teaspoon of sugar is good, don't put 5. That's just the way it is.
Well, now, the only place where I found that that's different is one
Yes.
time I was making this delicious bourbon bread pudding.
Oh, nice. One for
Last
them,
question.
one for you, one for everybody.
That's it. John in Springs asks, what type of blown-in attic insulation is best? How much should I add on top of the measly 5 inches of existing 22-year-old inches in my attic?
I would use formaldehyde-free fiberglass. I'd blow it in. You want to reach at least an R30. You have 5 inches now, and R30 is going to be 14 to 16 inches. So give it a good 10 to 12. Let's say 12 inches. and I think you're covered really well, and it'll be fine. Keep it simple. Don't overthink it. It all is in the thickness of it. And people don't realize that on the package of insulation, you have the R value in big letters and the thickness in the same size letters. That's because it has to have both. If you take an R30, which is supposed to be, let's just say off the top of my head, 12 inches deep, and you compress it to 6 inches deep, which is easily done because they roll it up real tight, and once it fluffs out, it gets bigger, then you don't have an R30. You have to have both.
We get letters, and we got one this week, somebody asking about why you are so formaldehyde free, because they're like in foam,
I
guess.
live without diseases.
But the point they were making is everything has all of it has a certain level of formaldehyde in it, doesn't it?
It certainly does. So it's like your bourbon or the tequila or the spoonful of sugar.
I can't wait to hear how this ties in.
Much, why would you want to have more?
Okay.
You have to have more.
Fair enough.
5 times is better than this. People love the new car smell. It's formaldehyde. It smells great. And then when it wears out, because it does outgas after a while, luckily in a car pretty quickly, especially in hot climates, because heat makes it outgas, then, hey, it's no longer cool anymore. You need a new car so you can keep smelling the formaldehyde. It's not good for you.
And sometimes there's some other kind of outgassing that will trump that in the car as well. Outgassing of the...
But Charlie, seriously, I really care about the health of people in a home. It's been a lifelong tradition with me from my college days on. Healthy living in a home is not as easy as it sounds, and a lot of problems people have, and they do trace it, and there's a lot of studies done, is caused by unhealthy homes and the way things are built, especially under the guise of energy efficiency. And an unhealthy home is not a good home for anybody. And I know that we're old. I'm 60, going to be 63 in August. I mean, I've done as much damage as going to happen. Don't have much time. But I think about the little babies that are being born and growing up in those homes. I think about the children. I really do. And that's why you'll hear me get very adamant about certain things that you want to avoid, because you can't avoid it all. So avoid as much as you can.
Yeah. I'm going to call Chris here real quick. Hey, Chris?
Yes, sir.
It's our video producer, Chris Desmond. I'm calling him here. Hey, Chris, when is that first smell video going to be ready?
Nice.
Tomorrow?
Yeah.
Awesome. Which one is that?
I want them both done, but the plumbing one is close.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, thank you. You're on Ask Tom Live, and now the whole world knows. Yeah. Bye. So there you go. Chris has made the promise to all the world that as much as you hate those smell questions, we've been working on this video like since before smells existed. It's just one of these videos.
Hey, I worked with him today
done.
at 10 this morning. Yes.
And we're going to put a video out there about plumbing smells in your house, and it's going to have some people from Abacus talking about that. And then next week, it's a stinko duo, because next week we're going to have about air conditioning smells. We were going to have them in one video.
Dead rats in the ductwork, wet sock syndrome. That's not good for you.
Right.
Yes.
And we were going to do it all in one video, but it was too much olfactory goodness to pack into one video. So we broke it into
Always
two.
Trust your nose. It tells you things. That's why it's above your mouth. So you smell something before it goes in at mouth.
We could talk about the locations of other things relative to other pieces,
Yes.
because there's some design in the human body I don't understand, but that's for another show, another time. And we're out of time for today. Tom is going to be here this Saturday and Sunday.
Yes. 9 to 12 on Saturday and 8 to 11 on Sunday. No doubt about it. I'll be on Sports Radio 610. We got to give our station we've been on for so many years a great plug. It's a great place to be. And you can join us too. And don't forget Danny. He's got the gardening, the thumbs of I don't know, the green thumbs is what they call it. Anyway, he's got thumbs. I know he has thumbs because he can do this. As far as that goes, He's going to be
kids,
handling your gardening questions from 7 to 9 on Saturday. Okay.
Don't try this at home. Tom is a trained professional.
Yes. Opposing thumbs.
That's it. Conjugating nouns and verbs is not for the faint of heart.
Oh, no.
Okay. Hey, by the way, Mike saw us closing out. He says, if you got time for one more question, he says, any recommendations for cabinets? I have new tile going in now and need to get cabinets going, but everyone I call are looking for the insurance jobs.
Cabinets? I assume he's in Houston, Charlie, so I'm going to say 281 Kitchen. 281 Kitchen. Call Trifection. They have a custom cabinet making / furniture making, whatever. They can do it. Their cabinets are fantastic. And I know Jeff loves to keep his cabinet guys busy. They'll work that cabinet system in. They just did cabinets for my laundry room. When I go home to Houston between my work shifts, I absolutely just sit in my laundry room and open close the doors. They're so nice. They do a fantastic job. So that is definitely, and I've had listeners who have been in the middle of woodworking jobs, making things for people. They couldn't do it anymore because of health reasons or something. I remember one in particular, and he didn't know what to do to finish this present he was making for his daughter and son-in-law. And he went to Trifection. They finished it up for him. He was the happiest guy in the world. So they will do cabinets. They love it.
We are having
built you a kitchen table, my friend. Let's not dismiss
3 times
because they couldn't find the one you wanted.
Right. No, well,
3
actually,
times. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, that's a whole other story. I'm not going to get into that story right now, but I will tell you this: they had to build that table because Sandy, when we were remodeling our kitchen, I showed her this picture in a magazine. We had already started the kitchen project, and I showed her this picture in a magazine. Look at this, a banquette seat. That's something to think about in the future. I came home the next afternoon and they were measuring for it in the kitchen. I'm like, so, but because they did that, because of the dimensions of it, you couldn't put a table in there. It was a square one didn't work, a round one didn't work, or an octagonal one. So they had to make one to fit. When we sell that house, the table's going with it because
it has to stay with the house.
Because it fits the space and all that. Yeah. So anyway, but I will tell you this about their cabinets. I'm sorry to brag on about Trifection today, but they're well, if they're at the house much longer, we're going to charge them rent. But they and it's not their fault. But anyway, they 2 things about them is, number one, Sandy has taken over the master closet, and so they're building me an entire wall of closet in the master bedroom, and it looks fantastic. Just, it's furniture. It's the kind of cabinet your kids will fight each other to have when you're gone. I mean, it's just beautiful stuff. And the other thing is, this is how committed these guys are getting done. The other morning, Sandy's asleep in bed, and the guy comes in and says, "Excuse me, ma'am." He had come in because they had the key to get in, and she was still asleep.
It's like anyway. Green Acres.
Yeah, it really is.
When they always had the remodelers in the bedroom.
Yeah, yes. But they're awesome. They're awesome people. So anyway.
Yeah,
so,
you're only talking 90 days. I want you and Sandy to chill. Since the freeze in February,
right?
It's been 90 days. It's going to take longer to get it done.
And here's the cool thing. When you move your stuff from room to room, you find all kinds of things. It's like Christmas. Nice. So, all right. Hey, if you're looking to find somebody you can trust, go to homeshowradio.com, click on the Find a Pro, or better, scroll down. You'll find all of the pros right here on our homepage. Those are the people that Tom trusts, and we also organize them by category, make it easier. You scroll down, you see the different categories of them right there. Those are people you can trust to do the work around your house because Tom trusts them, and you can too. If you'd like to get your questions here on the show, like you've seen some of them we've asked here, we also use the questions on our daily Ask Tom videos that we post at homeshowradio.com. Go to homeshowradio.com, click on that blue, that one, Ask Tom button. It'll take you to this page, and you can fill out the form. You can send us pictures. You can send us videos. You can do whatever your heart desires to help us answer your question and give you help because Tom wants to help you, whether it's a remodeling project, an upgrade, or something that just can't figure out for yourself. Tom will give you the advice you need, and we'll post a new video every day because he likes to do them at homeshowradio.com, our Facebook page, and our YouTube channel. I've never said that before, so, only a million times. So, anyway, so that's it for this week. We will not be here next week. There's going to be an Encore presentation next week because I'm going for the first time since 2007. I'm taking a vacation.
Really?
Yeah,
I did not know that.
Yeah, I'm
But
going.
no, that's good because I have my annual training. I was hoping to find a way to get out of it. I don't even have to ask now, so it's going to be wonderful. Thank you.
See, it's synchronicity.
It works.
No,
that I don't have to carry all this equipment with me.
No, but we'll have an encore production. And when I get back from my trip, you're going to be in our studio downstairs shooting commercials for Absolute Comfort Air. Just remember that's Monday, on your calendar 17th. Too. All right, but I'm going out to the desert. I'm going out to Joshua Tree National Park, and we're going to be taking pictures at night of the Milky Way and stuff like that for a week. And I can't understand why Sandy didn't want to tag along.
I can't wait to
stand
see
in the desert
that
all night.
Milky Way bar, man. That Milky Way bar.
Yeah.
That's what you bring her back. Bring her back a picture of a Milky Way bar.
I told her. I said I'm going for the Milky Way.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Hoping because I'm going out with the Three Musketeers and it's costing me $100,000. All right, that's it for this week. We'll be back. Let's get candy jokes, honey. Anyway, we'll see you we'll see you in 2 weeks. Next week, an Encore show. Thanks.
Got a question.